Biocon is in focus. Last week, they successfully completed raising 4,500 crores via QIP. To talk more on this fundraise, the company's debt reduction plans and their business outlook, I did catch up with Siddharth Mittal, who's the CEO and MD of Biocon. Listen in to excerpts of that conversation as I began by asking him about the demand for the QIP.
We just concluded a very successful QIP earlier this week, and it was a very strong demand coming in from domestic mutual funds, domestic insurance companies, domestic funds, as well as a very large interest from foreign institutional holders. So if you recall, we had said that we will raise 4,500 crores through QIP in one or more tranches, but the demand was so strong that we actually thought that it's better to complete the entire book at this stage and strengthen the balance sheet for the coming quarters for the growth.
Okay. So post QIP, what does the promoter shareholding stand at in Biocon?
So promoter would hold roughly 54%, down from 61% prior to the QIP.
All right. What is the promoter holding that Biocon would be comfortable with going forward?
Well, honestly, that's a good question that Kiran should ask, or should answer. But there is no threshold that's in mind. I mean, of course, holding 50% plus makes sense when it's a corporate entity where consolidation is important. But since the promoter is an individual, there is no such threshold. And whatever makes strategic sense for the company, that Kiran is, of course, going to go with.
Okay. Let's talk about the proceeds of this 4,500 crore QIP. What will it be used for?
We have certain obligations at Biocon, which is the holding company for biologics. If you recall, the acquisition of Viatris business required $2 billion of cash, of which 1.2 billion was taken in form of bank debt, and remaining 800 million was pumped in by Biocon or certain private equity investors. And we had to give exit to some of these private equity investors. And today, large part of the proceeds of QIP will be used to give exits to these investors, such as Goldman Sachs, who has an optionally convertible debenture, which is coming up for payment.
Okay. Can you tell us how much of that 4,500 crores will go towards the optionally convertible debentures?
It's close to $200 million.
Okay. All right. And how much would probably be outstanding post the QIP?
We still have roughly, I mean, the total private equity obligations were roughly $550 million, including some of the assured returns which few investors had. And with 550, as I said, we will retire close to 200 million. So the remaining would be $350 million.
Okay. All right. And when would you probably need to service that $300 million by?
See, the option that the investors have to exercise by end of this fiscal year, which is by March 26. And of course, the investors will, now that we have cash in the balance sheet, we will talk to the investors if they want an early exit. But legally, the obligation is by March 26.
Okay. All right. Net debt is around $1.1 billion as of FY25, and this is X of your structured instruments. Where does it stand now post the QIP?
See, the net debt at the business level does not change. As you said, that this 1.1 billion was excluding structured equity or structured debt. So the QIP will address only that section. So we have $800 million of bond, which was taken in September 24. And in addition to this, we have around $350 million of bank debt. So that remains unchanged.
All right, that remains unchanged. Let's approach it from an interest cost point of view. You did around 900 crores in terms of interest costs in the previous fiscal. How much would it probably reduce to?
See, it will come down a bit, but still, $1.1 billion of debt will have its own interest cost. Some of the structured equity or the private equity investors did not have assured returns, so there was no imputed interest. But likes of Goldman Sachs, Kotak, Edelweiss, which had a short return, did have an interest component. So once those are settled, then interest costs will come down. And as I said, that the outer limit is March 26 for repayment. So I do not expect a significant reduction in this fiscal, but definitely next fiscal, we will see on a roughly $500 million, 9 to 10% of interest coming down on an annualized basis.
What is the plan on further reduction of net debt? $1.1 billion. What is the timeline on reduction and how?
See, $800 million of bond is repayable in 29. It's a bullet repayment. So you don't have repayment obligations until then. And the remaining $300 odd million bank debt again has a repayment more towards the fourth and fifth year. So that will be in starting 27, fiscal 27. Of course, as we expect our business to grow over the next couple of years, cash flows to improve, we would start repaying that amount in a manner which will align with the cash flows.
But what is the plan in terms of raising funds to repay the debt? Do you have any plans in terms of fundraising? You did sell a stake in Syngene in December of 2024. Any further stake sales plan, for example, in Syngene? The holding currently stands at 52.46%.
Yeah, so there are no immediate plans to sell down any more stake in Syngene. Of course, we had sold down a portion of Syngene's stake to meet some of the obligations. And if you recall, we had certain obligations to Viatris, which was coming as a part of the overall purchase consideration or deferred consideration that we had to pay out.
Okay, for Biocon Biologics, a stake sale, IPO, what exactly is under consideration there?
We've always said that IPO is one of the plans to unlock the value and to give exit to the shareholders of Biocon Biologics, including Viatris, Serum, who are large shareholders. But recently, the board also constituted a committee to look at various options, including a potential merger of Biocon and Biocon Biologics. So once that evaluation is complete, we will know what's the next course of action. But at this stage, I won't give any definitive timelines of when any of these actions would be undertaken.
Okay, what is the launch timeline for bevacizumab?
It should be anytime in the coming weeks to months. We've already secured the approvals, so the launch is imminent, I would say.
Insulin aspart, you have a target action date, I understand. When is the TAD and what is the update on it?
So the facility has been cleared. There were no other scientific questions open with the FDA. And the TAD is coming up within the next few weeks. And we are hoping that we will get the approval on the target action date.